ABC's Alex Stone is there with more.
Boulder's Pearl Street is a popular, typically...
Good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show video live stream.
Is it 7 o'clock already?
I'm Ken Lundberg. Over there is Mike Weibel, and we do it every weekday morning from 7 to 8.
We do.
And if you ever miss it, you always know where to find it.
Right.
It's on the video archives on Facebook and YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube. It is, by the way, today's a special show.
It is.
Because it is the 1-year anniversary of the morning show with Ken and Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure throughout the year, I have identified a handful of friends who've come on the show.
How's that feel to have friends? Is it a good thing now?
I will share that with you when I experience a little bit more. I'm not going
when your better friends are
when
here?
one of my better friends are here. No, we do appreciate everyone who's been part of it. I'm sorry, I was distracted because there was a big pop-up video over this article I was reading. We were talking about it a moment ago. There's a new study. I mean, people want to study everything, and that's good that they study stuff
because they get grants for it. But now with those, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a good point. Are we going to continue to see as many studies in the future now that the free flow of grant funding is getting a little bit trickier?
We'll just do what RFK does and AI it.
Oh goodness, yeah. Well, that's a whole nother topic. But I was looking at some of the headlines from USA Today, and one of the headlines caught my attention. New study finds cannabis edibles raise risk of premature heart disease. It says the study found people who used cannabis chronically. So if you're chronic,
also known as
had significant reduced vascular function. Those who consumed edibles had more degradation than those who smoked weed, and more research is needed. But that last line, those who consumed edibles had more degradation than those who smoked.
That doesn't make sense.
In the cardiovascular. So it says a new study has found a link between chronic cannabis use, including an edible form, and an increased cardiovascular disease that's comparable to the effects of smoking tobacco. I get it. If you're smoking anything,
right,
then you're going to have some issues, right? Because you're affecting your cardiovascular system, right?
Right.
Okay. But the study is the latest to associate cannabis with the negative health impacts and was conducted by researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, who analyzed the cardiovascular health of 55 people. Huge study.
Yeah, 55. That's
55 people who consumed cannabis at least 3 times a week for the last year. They found vascular fungus.
It's just hard to find people to get motivated to do a cannabis study.
I mean, they're out in San Francisco. They couldn't find more than 55 people to take part in a weed study?
No.
They found vascular function was reduced by about half when compared with those who did not consume cannabis regularly. They also showed signs of increased risk for premature heart disease, similar to tobacco smokers. Yeah, those included in the study who were tested did not smoke tobacco or vape and were not frequently exposed to secondhand tobacco smoke. So they're saying it's just about the marijuana. I don't know. I mean, that's interesting, I suppose. But I wonder, as you mentioned, were they asking the right questions?
Right.
Were they asking the right questions? What are you doing over there?
Getting some music for your anniversary show.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Remember, we have to pay for music that we air. Stop that. You're going to get us kicked off. Stop it. I'm going to turn you off. All right. It's 7:04. It's the WSJM morning show. Oh, that's a nice one. Your microphone's off, so I'll relay your messages. Ken, you're a great guy. We have weather for today, mostly sunny skies, a high around 83. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear, a low around 62. And tomorrow, Tuesday, partly sunny and a high around 86. We're going to get back. We're going to have our local news. We'll have more weather. We'll look at the extended forecast, see if Mike starts behaving. He's a little bit surly today. Here, I'll turn it up.
Yeah.
Nope. He's not behaving. Okay. More in a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg, and over there is Mike Weibel, my co-host today. And it is Monday,
It is.
June 2nd, 2025.
Yep.
And as I have already informed people on the video live stream, today is the 1-year anniversary of the Morning Show with Ken and Friends.
Right?
We lasted a year.
That's awesome.
Look at that.
And I chose music that you won't allow me to play. So,
That's right.
So I'm just encouraging people out there to find your own music and then sing it to yourself in honor of Ken.
That's a great
And
thought.
friends.
Thank you. And friends.
Right.
Friends, plural.
Right.
Friends,
Because
plural.
We don't get the friends don't get much credit.
You get friends. You get billing, top billing all the time.
Right.
Benton Harbor temperature right now under sunny skies is 42 degrees. St. Joseph 45 and mostly sunny. 44 and mostly sunny in South Haven. Let's check out where it was in the 30s earlier today. Oh, we've warmed up to 40 degrees in Dowagiac.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's 40 degrees in Dowagiac, 40 in Buchanan. Niles is 40 right now, and at the South Bend International Airport, it's 41 degrees and mostly
Time to
sunny.
put on your wife beater in Dowagiac.
Oh, I don't know why you said that. Mostly sunny skies, high around 83 degrees today. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear, low around 62. And Tuesday, partly sunny, high around 86 degrees with gusting winds out of the south, 35 miles per hour. It's going to be windy. Yeah.
Windy.
Yeah, good. Wednesday's forecast, mostly cloudy. We do have, by the time we hit around midweek, a 70% chance of showers and storms, a high around 80, low around 68. Thursday's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 40% chance of showers, high around 74. Friday, we're going to keep some of those temperatures in the 70s, partly sunny, 40% chance of showers. The low overnight is going to be around 57 degrees. And as we look at the next weekend ahead, we're going to keep a chance of showers, partly sunny skies, a high around 72. And Sunday, partly sunny, high around 77. As we mentioned in sports earlier today, Tigers beat the Kansas City Royals yesterday, 1-0. The Tigers took 2 games out of that 3-game series. They are in Chicago today to take on the White Sox. First pitch is set for 7:40 p.m. You can hear it right here on your official Detroit Tigers Major League Baseball station, WSJM. Cubs beat the Cincinnati Reds yesterday, 7-3. Okay, what do we have going on? We have news from the WSJM newsroom. It's a bit of a perfect storm right now as far as funding is concerned for area nonprofit groups. That's from the United Way of Southwest Michigan. The United Way's Zach East tells us a lot of what the group does is support other nonprofits since they've been dealing with a lot of funding uncertainty through federal and state budgets and local workforce changes. East says United Way has decided to update how often they release money to their impact partners during 12-month cycles.
In order to be more nimble and agile with all the changes that are kind of still up in the air but also expected with this year, we've decided to change that funding cycle to a year.
He says in this environment, a 3-year funding cycle, which it was previously, makes planning more difficult for their nonprofit partners, so they changed to 1 year.
It's very much about what is changing with the impact partners that we work with. We want to be as good of a partner to them as they are to us and the community.
He says adopting a more nimble funding cycle is the responsible thing to do, given what's happening in the nonprofit world. He notes the United Way receives no federal tax money and is entirely supported by donations. But for some nonprofits, that's not the case. They say the new funding cycle starts July 1. And we have a link for more information at our website. That's at WSJM.com. The Greater Niles Chamber of Commerce will hold its annual luncheon this Thursday, and there will be a special guest in attendance,
Who?
Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, Niles Chamber Director Ryan Boschool tells us Whitmer will be the keynote speaker. He says the chamber has a lot of connections throughout the state, and they exercise those connections to see what they could do. They say the connections came through on the request to have the governor attend.
We reached out to several of our key partners and said, hey, do you think the governor would be interested in coming to speak to our humble gathering of business leaders down here in Niles? And they said, hey, we'll absolutely make the request. And lo and behold, she said yes, so we're really excited to have her.
Boschool says this has been a big year for the Greater Niles Chamber as the community received a lot of state support for their projects and attractions like the Chapin Mansion and the Fort Fort St. Joseph project were given State Historic Preservation Awards.
There have been a lot of projects. We just went through a massive road repair project. There's just been a lot of things happening in Niles, a lot of resources coming from the state of Michigan that I think we've been on their radars.
Boeschool says big things are happening in Niles lately, including the launch of the Outdoor Entertainment District, which he says has been transformative. Whitmer's keynote at the luncheon will reportedly focus on fostering economic growth across Michigan with a spotlight on initiatives impacting the greater Niles region. The event, to be held at the Morris Estate in Niles, is sold out.
Wow.
Yeah, already sold out. One more. Talk about roads. They talked about that big roads project they had in Niles last year.
Yeah.
There's a big road project going on in Buchanan now. We've talked about it here on the news. We've had some concerns. We've also had Buchanan officials talking about, we're making our town a greater place.
Right.
Tried to get through it again this weekend.
Really?
Oh, my goodness.
Bad?
Well, I thought I was going to outsmart the detours.
Oh.
I thought I was going to outsmart the detours. So instead of taking the exit at Walton Road, I was going to go down to the main Niles Buchanan roadway.
Okay.
But that's totally closed off, and I'd forgotten about that. Totally closed off. So I had to go to the next exit and come back around. And I happen to be, I think, which is in the most difficult place to reach. I had to drop Samuel off at a place, and it's the most difficult location to reach in Buchanan. Because you had to go all the way around, and then to get back on the highway, I would have had to go all the way back around again. So I decided I'm just going to take Redbud Trail. That's a nice drive anyway.
Yeah, it is.
That's a nice drive. And you get to look at the motocross track.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
It's the crossroads that get me on Redbud.
The what?
Because you can be scooting along on Redbud Trail.
Yeah.
But the crossroads are, it just seems like a wreck waiting to happen.
Where? Which?
As you're going through down Redbud and things go across Redbud.
Oh, people crossing Redbud.
It's just stop signs and
As long as you're paying attention to those.
Well, not all of us have good tires.
In fact, the only time I got into an accident on my motorcycle was on Walton Road because somebody went into the right turn lane and just kept blowing straight instead of taking their right turn only lane, which caused me to react and lay down my bike. So, anyway.
No, you laid it down?
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still have it?
Yeah, and the shoulder pain to go along with it. 712 WSJM Morning Show continues. One more news story we'll get to. At last week's Mackinac Policy Conference, we saw Congressman Bill Huizenga was up there on stage, spent time talking about tax and spend bills that are moving through Washington, including the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Huizenga says it's essential to move tax cuts forward and balance revenue reductions with some spending cuts. And he says there's a lot of waste in programs in like Medicaid, where there are able-bodied people on the program who refuse to work, and there are people taking Medicaid who are in the country illegally.
We've got millions of people who are here undocumented, without documentation, came here illegally, who are also drawing on these systems. And what that's doing is that is taking money away from those folks who are disabled, who do have dependents, who cannot work. And that, to me, just doesn't seem fair to our citizens.
Huizenga says the U.S. is facing $36 trillion in debt. And if Republicans want to reduce the debt, they have to clear the way for more economic activity.
And what that does is that gets more people at work. It creates more payroll taxes. We know that with a healthier economy, that means we're going to be able to lower interest rates. And all the way around, this is going to be a positive.
Huizenga says the so-called Big Beautiful Bill prevents the largest tax increase in history while reducing taxes for Americans, making between $30,000 and $80,000 by 15%. He says it also eliminates taxes on tips and overtime. The bill is now in the U.S. Senate for consideration. It's getting some flack there.
It is.
Yeah, Rand Paul says, nope, it's going to add to the deficit. Yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that. 7:14, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Sports is coming up next right here. Dave Wolf is out, but we've got the Michigan News Network.
Sports on the Michigan News Network.
Okay, WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. Here we are. Let's see what we have here. On the video live stream. Alex says, good morning, Ken and friends. Good morning, Alex. Bill says, good morning. Let's see. Bill says, good morning. It's not a surprise the governor said yes to coming to Niles. She's running for president in 2028. I think that is a would I say a surefire thing?
Yeah.
A surefire thing?
I think so.
Yeah, because the governor, and I think she should have stood up and been louder last time around when Biden was coronating Kamala Harris to run for president.
Right.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if the party leaders look back on that and say, we should have, they are.
Yeah.
They did.
Somebody got the blame for that.
Oh, tons of people.
That didn't probably have anything to do with it.
If politicians are good at anything, they're good at finger pointing,
right.
passing the blame around. But yeah, I think, it could be interesting. Another indication that she's running for president next time around was a couple of months ago. You remember she wanted to give this speech in Washington, D.C. and had to postpone it because of the ice storms.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
And so, and then eventually she was able to reschedule it for later in the week in DC, which is difficult to do because there are all kinds of events, unless you have inside friends who have their own conference room who only let it out for potential presidential candidates.
And then that's when Trump brought her into the.
That was the same. Yeah, that was the same timing. So here I am. I'm giving all of these policy ideas. I'm ready. Coming to the Oval Office.
Right.
Who's all these press
Come in
here?
for this photo. No. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then everybody was like, why would she do that?
Well, and that was from her own party.
Right.
That was from her own party. Anyway, so I think good observation there. Let's see what else we have. Diane says, good morning. Have a great day. Good morning, Diane. Teresa says, good morning. Good to see you, Teresa. Good to see everyone. Thank you all. Hope you had a great weekend. Again, it's the 1 year anniversary of the morning show with Ken and Friends.
It is.
Mike has been here for, I would say, a majority of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long's it been?
I don't know. It's gone fast.
You don't know your anniversary date of joining the Ken and Friends show?
I don't. I would hope you remember that.
Okay. All right.
I'm expecting something special on that day.
Well, don't hold your breath. Oh, show people your mug here. Let me get a close up. So this is that's the best husband ever. How old is that mug? And I'm glad you're showing the side with the chip in it. No, show it the side. No, put it back. Put it back. Stop doing that. Okay. Oh my goodness. Not there. Put it back where you had it. No, you're done. We're done with you. The coffee cup cam is done.
All right.
No, when did you get that?
Probably 2 years ago.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How come the writing is a little bit off? Is that a funny thing?
No, I didn't buy the cup for myself, so I don't know.
Well, you didn't make it.
Or you're right, I didn't make it or buy it.
Well, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So my kids are like, why would you have that coffee cup? I'm like,
what?
I think your mom got it at the rummage.
Kids are so cynical sometimes. They are. All right, but we love them.
Well,
had some great quality time with the boys this weekend, and Sawyer, he's home from his first year of college at University of Michigan. Went off to Chicago to do good for a whole week.
Nice. What did he do?
Well, we'll tell you in a minute, right here on the WSJM Morning Show
today.
On the morning show.
Mostly sunny skies today. We're going to see high temperatures around 83 degrees. The winds will be out of the southwest. They'll stay pretty light. Clear skies tonight. We drop down to 62. And then for tomorrow, we're talking middle 80s with lots of sunshine, a little bit breezy on Tuesday afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms start up back on Wednesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show, 7:19. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. It's Monday, June 2nd. Temperature outside right now, we warmed up a few degrees. 43 in Benton Harbor under sunny skies. 46 already in St. Joseph. 44 in South Haven. Nice crisp start to the day.
Yes.
Down in Dowagiac and Niles, they had temperatures in the 30s. They're now in the 40s. And again, as the weather folks are telling us, it's going to get warmer. Going to get warmer yet. 80 degrees.
It can't get much colder.
Don't say that. I'm Ken Lundberg, and over there is Mike Weibel. It is the 1 year anniversary of the WSJM Morning Show with Ken and Friends. So we made it a year. Thank you for your support, your help, your input, your criticisms, all that fun stuff.
All those things.
The brick bats.
Right.
The brick bats. We're on the video live stream as well, where we're saying hello to Teresa, Bill, Alex, Diane, and others. Thank you for joining us, and Stephanie as well. And so on the morning show today, I thought I'd give Mike Weibel an opportunity to list out his 100 reasons why he loves being here on the show. Start with number 100.
Well, number 100 would
No.
be
I'm just kidding.
spending special time with Ken.
That's right, special time. But it's been a great year, and in that year we have the video live stream from 7 to 8 o'clock, and so we would love people to participate in that. And really, it's an opportunity for you to bring a community voice on. And we've had a lot of people give us good input on who we should have on as community voices. Usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and we really have spanned the gamut of guests. We've had a variety of guests, everything from politicians and people who are in our local governments to people who are involved in the arts community, as well as environmental. I mean, it's just been all over the board. And we think they're interesting. Drone operators.
Right. Drone operators, those that are planning for renovations in Benton Harbor. I mean, just you name it.
Yeah. And we're always trying to get other interesting guests on as well. So if you ever have a thought or an idea, we've got the contact us page through WSJM. Just take a look there. Find my name, Ken Lundberg, and you can get us the information. Okay, 721. We wanted to talk about a couple of things. Last hour, we started talking about Nielsen. They've got their multi-platform numbers now that are taking into account the ratings on both terrestrial TV, cable TV, and web streaming. And so we'll talk about some of the most popular shows in a few moments. But first off, Mike, you found a really, what was interesting to me, list of the most deadliest things in Michigan. What inspired you to find this list, by the way?
I don't know. It just expanded to a general Google search. And then there's things in Michigan I didn't even know were there.
Okay. Well, let's hear what you found.
The eastern rattlesnake. I didn't know that we had rattlesnakes actually in Michigan, but we do.
In Michigan. Where?
Yeah.
Do we know where?
It says the eastern rattlesnake is only found in Michigan, now endangered largely due to habitat loss.
Oh.
Wetlands, grasslands, and meadows across Michigan.
So there's the western rattlesnake, which I've seen before,
right.
the diamondback rattlesnake. You see it in person, you know it's a rattlesnake because it sits there, it looks at you, and it starts rattling, which is basically the universal sign for get the heck out of Dodge.
Right. Don't move quickly.
Okay, so we have one of those. What else?
Right.
What
Black
else did you find?
bears.
Why are they saying black bears are deadly? Come on.
Well, it's because if you hug them, they don't like to be hugged.
They do not appreciate the close contact.
The gray wolf.
Oh, okay.
So my son was coming back from school up in the UP. He went to Michigan Tech.
Okay.
And saw a gray wolf.
Wow.
Well, right. And he said it was amazingly large.
You sure it wasn't like a standard poodle or something?
No.
Because sometimes people confuse wolves and dogs.
Yeah. But he said it was shockingly large.
Yeah.
Cougars.
Okay. So far of the list, we have the eastern rattlesnake, the cougar, the what were the other two things?
Eastern rattlesnake, the cougar, the black bear.
Oh, okay. The black bear and the wolf.
And the wolf.
So far, I'm thinking these are things that we don't see.
Yeah, well, we're circling in.
Okay.
Next, coyotes.
Oh, come on. Coyotes aren't dangerous.
So they say be really careful if they're eating.
Unless you're a cat. Right. Oh, yeah. You never want to touch a dog when they're eating.
Right. But if you run up on a coyote and it's eating, they say they can be very, they don't like to be
unfriendly.
Disrupted. Yes.
Okay.
Then, which I had no idea, we have our own black widow spider.
This is amazing. I had no idea as well. I thought the only spider we had to worry about was the brown recluse. You're saying we have a black widow version?
So, unfortunately, Michigan is also home to the northern black widow spider.
Huh.
Which inhabits dark, undisturbed areas like wood piles and basements.
Ah! You've just single-handedly put off a lot of cleanup work around wood piles and in basements.
I mean,
I wonder, do you have a picture there? Are you looking at a picture? Yeah. Does it look like real shiny like all the others? The other black widows? Oh, it does. Look at that. So, and it looks fatter than the usual black widow spider. Oh, and it's got 2 diamonds on there.
Right.
Jeez.
So just like Michigan, a little bling and a little bit grumpy.
Okay. All right. What else? Anything else fun on the list? Anything else
recluse,
to kill us? Okay, the brown recluse. Have you ever seen a brown recluse?
I've not face to face.
Yeah, me either. Thank goodness.
The American toad.
Why
which
is what's the deadly nature of an American
so
toad?
not to humans, but to animals?
Oh, aren't
so-
we animals?
No.
Oh.
So back when I was a kid, we had a miniature poodle, and the poodle picked up a toad in his mouth. And I think not to eat it, but just to like bring it, like, look what I found.
Yeah.
But they release a toxin.
I'm sure.
And by the time she got halfway across the yard, she was foaming at the
Oh
mouth.
no.
Which I wouldn't let her in the house because I thought she had rabies. So
Get out of here, dog.
exactly. The
Fido.
dog is like, and I'm like, nope. So we had to force feed kaopectate to that dog for 72 hours because of that stupid toad. So
That's horrible.
Yeah.
You know who else has a miniature poodle now?
Who?
Brett.
Does he?
Yeah, it's like a little toy poodle.
That's so funny.
I don't even know if is there a difference between miniature and toy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think he has a toy poodle.
Oh, yeah, little tiny ones.
Met Amy this weekend.
Did you?
His wife, yeah.
Is she nice?
She's incredibly
You knew
nice.
she had to be to put up with him.
That's what I said.
All right.
She's definitely
I
the
was gonna
best.
say she's a saint.
She's
I'm sure.
definitely, yeah. Brett Wachowski's wife, Amy, met her this weekend, and I said, "Where's Brett? Why isn't he here working with you?" Because she was putting up blinds in one of the, place, and she said, "Oh well, he's at a sporting event. He's at a baseball game."
So that's what he said.
Yeah,
he probably was home running
watching
the
TV,
leaf blower.
Yeah. Oh, he
irritated the neighbors.
all right, keep going.
Ticks
are, yeah, I can see that.
very bad.
They carry everything.
Mosquitoes, very
Yeah,
bad.
Hate them. Yep.
The Fowler's toad, another one with toxins, but a Fowler's toad is brown, really hard to see, but they say they are not good.
Okay.
And not
Are these for like your dogs again, or for anybody who?
They said for dogs, but they said if you pick it up with your hand and then happen to, I don't know, lick your hand,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not good.
All right.
And then
Another
the last
reason
thing-
to always wash your hands, by the way.
Right. Especially after you picked up a toad that peed on you. And then the last thing is the moose.
Oh yeah. You know, the moose, a moose is deceptively kind looking.
Yes.
Everyone thinks Bullwinkle moose, oh, he's so friendly. He's going to tell us a joke. No.
Exactly. I saw on Facebook this weekend a guy
He'll
who
stomp
had
you.
shot a moose.
Yeah.
And he laid in between the front and the hind legs of the moose, and the moose was still like 3 times larger than
Yeah.
him, because they say they can get to be upwards the north side of 1,000 pounds.
Wow. That's like a steer. That's a good sized steer.
Yeah, and they're fast.
Yeah.
And they don't like people.
No, they don't like people.
No.
So watch out for the Mises.
Right.
Yeah. Moose.
And then the last thing on the list was robins with a bad attitude.
Oh, that reminds me about the poor robin we found dead in our backyard last
What?
week.
Did you
Yeah.
pick it up? Probably had avian flu.
I assumed it had avian flu, so I was nominated to take care of it, and so I got a couple of plastic bags and wrapped it up and tried not to breathe on it. Didn't let the dog touch it.
So when I was in high school, one of my friends' dads had an issue where a robin, for some reason, decided to tap at the window.
Oh,
So the robin would land on their back window and just tap, 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 tap for hours at a time.
oh my!
And he tried to scare it away. It would come back. Whatever the issue, I think that I finally had said they see themselves and
Oh.
they're trying to free their friend, I guess.
Yeah.
But he was like, and I said, it's a state bird. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
I think he got a BB gun and killed him. I do.
Aw,
Right.
that's rude.
It is, but he couldn't take it anymore. It was him and the robin.
Speaking of birds that see their reflections, when we worked up at Whirlpool,
Mhm.
the global headquarters, they've got a multi-level structure and tons of windows, and that's where the turkey vultures are. And they love the windows for some reason.
Really?
So I think it's especially during mating season.
Okay.
Because there'll be one of the turkey vultures sitting off on the side of the roof, and then the other one, I think it's the female. I'm not sure, but it's you would think it would be the male, but I think somebody told me it was actually the female. They'd sit right in front of the window, like look at the window, give it side eye and that kind of thing, and then it would fly into the window.
Oh man.
Just it's only like 6 feet away, but that's a thump.
Yeah.
And just like whump into the window, get pick itself up, go stand and look at the window again, and do it again after a few minutes. And they would also get right up close and start pecking at the window. I mean, it's an amazing thing because you see these magnificent creatures up in the sky,
Right.
but to see them up close like that, preening and holding their their wings ran
and the
out.
male buzzard's just going, "How you doing?"
How you doing?
The females are flying into the windows. They're just like, "How you doing?"
I think that's the way it was. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, it was pretty.
I heard this weekend. Do you know how much a bald eagle weighs? A extremely large bald eagle.
Okay.
You have.
Any
I'm
guess? Do you want me to guess?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 90 between 95 and 130 pounds.
Wow. No.
Wouldn't that be fun though?
It would be.
Okay.
Would be like me with wings.
How much?
Between 12 and 15 pounds.
What, an adult bald eagle?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
That much?
Deceptively small.
That little. 12 and 15
majority
pounds.
of their weight is feathers.
Huh.
Yeah. You see this ginormous. This lady was holding a bald eagle, which was the largest one that they had in their facility, and
Yeah.
she said, "This is an extremely large bald eagle, and it weighs 15 pounds."
15
Yeah,
pounds.
and they said the average answer is 25 to 30 pounds.
Oh, so I was way over.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like you were like a fifth grader with wings.
I'm like that in many ways. It's 7:31. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We have more coming up. We'll get to the list of what people are watching on TV. It's all coming up on this anniversary edition of the WSJM Morning Show with Ken and Friends.
Would you call free checking that
There was somebody outside the window here who was saying hi.
Okay.
Somebody had gotten into the building. So can you at least just find out who they are and come back? Sorry about that. Thanks, Mike. we have a lot of different windows through the different studios here, and somebody whom I did not recognize came. Mike. He went to the place where they were. You got to go to the place where they are. Anyway, so they were waving, and I didn't recognize who it was. So maybe it's a new member of the team. Who knows? We were talking about leaf blowers a minute ago, and we'll talk about that as soon as I get Mike's attention when he comes back in here. We'll talk about gas-powered leaf blowers. They've been around since the early 1970s, and apparently there's some new regulation that's going to stop their use in some places. California, District of Columbia, they have bans now against the sale of gas-powered leaf blowers. In 2018, under the Leaf Blower Regulation Amendment Act of 2018, companies or individuals who use gas-powered leaf blowers are subject to fines of up to $500 for each offense. $500. And in California, lawmakers passed a bill which banned the sale of gas-powered leaf blowers and weed whackers by July of last year. And while the bans on the sale and the use of the gas-powered leaf blowers and lawn equipment have been applauded by many, including myself, the policies have also sparked backlash, with states like Texas and Florida prohibiting an outright ban on those devices to protect those who own the oil and gas-powered devices. According to the Public Interest Research Group, PIRG, which is an advocacy organization based in Washington, D.C., the following states or cities have either banned or restricted gas-powered leaf blowers and lawn equipment. Looking at Los Angeles, California. Mike just made another lap. Here, hang on one second. Let me see if I can find what he's doing here. Nope, nowhere to be seen. All right. Well, I'm sure he'll come back soon. Anyway, let's see. Los Angeles has banned them. No gas power blower can be used within 500 feet of any residence at any time. I like that. Although 500 feet, is that really enough for a gas powered blower? Let's see. The state of California, they are banned the commercial sale of all gas powered lawn equipment and tools. What'd you find out?
I've walked the entire building and saw no one.
Really?
Right.
You couldn't find them?
No. Went downstairs, went all the way downstairs, came all the way upstairs. I got nothing.
Oh, well, thank you for doing
There's
that.
a vehicle out there to the right.
Well, there was a person too. Huh. So they're in the building somewhere.
They must be hiding.
Great.
So they'll be fine.
Okay. Well, how'd they get in the building?
I don't know. You didn't let them in, so they got to be somebody who has a
Fob,
away, right?
I guess. Anyway, we were talking about leaf blowers, gas-powered leaf blowers and weed whackers.
Okay.
And how they've been banned in a number of states and municipalities. And I was just going through, I saw California. So in Los Angeles, no gas-powered blower can be used within 500 feet of any residence at any time. What? You don't like that?
No.
Why not?
Have you heard a electric one?
They're just as noisy.
They're worse. They have
You think they're worse?
Yeah.
Oh.
My father-in-law has one. He's 100. He can't hear anything because of the leaf blower, probably. But it has this high, when you put it on turbo, it has this shrill, high whine to it that is like, it's creating hearing damage just when you hear it.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
So I'd rather hear than,
Well, I guess it begs the question, what about the noise police, right? Because, I mean, you can't just keep going through town with a unmuffled car engine because somebody will say that violates our noise ordinance. You're done. Leaf blower, I think same thing. If you can hear it 6 houses over, somebody should call the leaf police.
The leaf police.
The leaf police.
All
right.
Around in my head.
We'll be right back. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
$36 billion this year, down from a December prediction as the industry faces headwinds like growing trade tensions and a drop in consumer confidence. Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian says he's more confident about demand in the year's second half. In an interview from India, Bastian told Bloomberg TV that he expects demand to tick up a bit after weakness, especially in the U.S. earlier this year. Bastian said North Atlantic travel is doing well and yields are strong in the front of the plane. Once again, futures point to a lower open. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:37. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg here with Mike Weibel on the anniversary edition of the 1-year anniversary of the WSJM Morning Show with Ken and Friends.
Which is awesome.
But yeah, 1 year.
Right.
We made it a year.
Yeah.
We found enough material for the last year.
Whew, it's been some heavy lifting.
Now we've got to find material for the coming year.
Yeah.
It's
be a lot of best of.
Yeah, right. Mostly sunny skies outside right now. Benton Harbor, 45 degrees, 47 already in St. Joseph, 45 in South Haven, Dowagiac, 43, 46 in New Buffalo, and at the South Bend International Airport, 43 degrees and sunny. By the way, our friends from the South Bend International Airport will be joining us next hour. They're going to be the guests of Cornerstone Alliance. They're coming in to talk about economic development. And you can't talk about economic development without talking about transportation to and from the region.
Exactly.
And South Bend International Airport fills that bill. So we'll be talking with them. That's coming up next hour right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Forecast for today, we have mostly sunny skies in store, a high around 83 degrees, southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear again, a low around 62. The wind continues. Tuesday, partly sunny, a high around 86 degrees tomorrow. So we're supposedly going to get around 83 today. Tuesday's supposedly going to get around 86. We're still going to keep the wind, though. South winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 35. Does that affect your golf game?
Yes.
That does affect the golf game significantly?
Yes.
What do? Do you keep it low?
Try to keep it low.
Unless the wind's at your back, and then you just hit the heck out of that sucker.
But try to club down because you got the wind that will eat up your golf shot, which was the case on Saturday morning when I played golf. Was you had cold weather plus wind. So on some holes, you were clubbing down 2 or 3 clubs to counteract the wind.
By clubbing down, that means keeping it a lower trajectory. So you stay out of the wind, right?
Yes and no, but also, if you normally would hit a 7-iron, clubbing down would be you hit a 6 or a 5,
right?
Because you realize it's not going to go as far as it normally would.
Oh, so you're trying for additional distance,
right? Because you're going to try to hit a ball that's going to normally would go 200 yards, but now it's only going to go 165 or 170, because the wind is blowing what we call hitting into the fan.
Oh, okay. Golf notes from Mike Weibel.
So overnight, it's
free
going
of
to be
charge.
62 is the low tonight. Which is great. The grass will love it. And then the rest of the week is high 50s, low 60s, which everything seems to be a couple weeks behind as far as the garden is concerned. So,
Do you have a garden?
yeah.
Is there food in it?
Potatoes right now.
Oh, that's right. How's the potato thing going?
It's going.
Have they sprouted?
So I was a little concerned because you mocked my potato thing.
I never mocked
You
it.
did.
Okay.
You did.
I might have.
Horribly. But it took me a couple weeks, but I got over it. And then I went out and looked last week, and I pulled up some of my straw and realized there was little leaves coming out. And now, as of yesterday, it is quite ambitiously growing potatoes.
So if you haven't been listening to the WSJM morning
Which
show,
is the anniversary, shame on you.
to learn about Mike's potato growing episode, the potatoes you've grown are in a tower of some sort, right?
Yes, yeah.
Details.
So I saw it on social media, and so what it is I had metal fencing, like wire, and made a
Chicken wire.
Yeah, like a 2-foot around cylinder out of it. It's 4 foot high. And I put a layer of straw, layer of dirt, potatoes, layer of straw, layer of dirt, potatoes, and so forth for 7 layers.
Oh,
and
it's a 7-layer cake.
Right.
Okay.
So
and now it's growing out of all of it or just the top?
The top and the sides. They're all.
So it's all of it.
Yeah.
Wow. And do you harvest them all at once?
Yeah, because you plant them all at once. Their thing is to stagger them, but I didn't know if it was going to work. So I was like, I'm not going to stagger what may or may not work. But
I see.
According to what I read yesterday, they should be done by August.
Okay. All right. What kind of potatoes?
Those are some russets, some Idahos, and some of the little mini ones, which I love so much.
Okay. Fingerlings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love those.
Those are good. All right. More on potato talk coming up soon. We
Potato talk.
We have the latest
Thank you for joining us for Potato Talk.
world and national news from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A fire attack in Boulder, Colorado. Several people hurt, including some burned. ABC's Mola Lengi's there.
Police responding to a suspect armed with what officials say was a makeshift flamethrower, who allegedly threw an incendiary device into the crowd. Witnesses say he yelled, "Free Palestine," during the attack.
It was absolutely gruesome.
The FBI investigating what they're calling a targeted attack on a group of peaceful demonstrators who were raising awareness on the remaining Israeli hostages in Gaza. 8 people between the ages of 52 and 88 injured. 2 airlifted to burn units. 1 in critical condition.
In Gaza, more than 30 people were killed and hundreds wounded when gunfire broke out at an aid distribution site. Israeli soldiers say they fired warning shots. Witnesses say they fired into the crowd. There are supposed to be peace talks today between Ukrainian and Russian officials. Ukraine, however, launched a new offensive deep into Russian territory over the weekend. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Good morning. It's 7:43. Some of the news coming up at 8 o'clock this morning after world and national news from ABC. Our local news from the WSJM Newsroom. Firefighters from several Van Buren and Allegan County departments battled a blaze that destroyed a Columbia Township residence yesterday. Firefighters dispatched to a residence on Baseline Road near 51 Half Street just before 5 p.m. Unfortunately, the residence, a total loss. It even spread to other buildings. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. If you want your voice heard on what downtown St. Joseph's Main Street will look like in the future, the Michigan Department of Transportation is holding another open house on the reconstruction plan. That's happening this afternoon. The open house will be from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, and they're talking about all kinds of things that they have in plan for the Main Street area. Not about parking, though. The paid parking. They're not talking about that, but they'll talk about other stuff.
That's okay, because Brent and I are working on a new business venture, which are called parking meter wraps.
Oh, the canvas stuff to put them over the parking meters and kiosks in the wintertime.
Really decorative trash bag that goes over the top that says St. Joe Public Works, and it's great, and they're inexpensive, and you could get it at Witkowski.com.
Oh boy, not true. Fake news. Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news. One other story we'll tell you about it coming up at 8 o'clock. The Van Buren Conservation District will hold a community recycling event this week in Paw Paw. It says the Recycle Roundup collections are the biggest recycling and safe disposal events that they have for the whole year. Safe disposal, not safe disposal.
Oh, thanks.
So we're not getting rid of our safes.
I was putting that on in my mind. I
We're
was
just
putting it back in my truck.
safely
That
getting
would have
rid
been
of stuff.
embarrassing.
Safely
Here
getting
for my
rid of
safe disposal. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not taking those.
safely getting rid of stuff. All right, 7:45. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got sports coming up in just a moment.
The Michigan News.
All right, back on the gas-powered blowers. So some of these laws are fun. California, very annoyed by leaf blowers, which I don't blame them.
They're just annoyed.
Bans the
In general.
commercial sale of all gas-powered lawn equipment and tools at the beginning of 2024.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see. In Beverly Hills, it bans anyone in Beverly Hills from using gas-powered leaf blowers. Okay. Gas-powered leaf blowers, blah, 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 blah. 6 pages of this stuff. Okay. Let's see. What do we have in Michigan? Anything? We've got Vermont, Delaware, Florida. What do they even have leaves in Florida? Let's see.
They do.
Oh, in Miami, bans anyone in Miami Beach from using gas-powered leaf blowers. So nothing in Miami Beach. Oh, here in Naples, they're a little bit more specific. Bans the use of gas-powered leaf blowers, and electric leaf blowers over 65 decibels are not permitted. See, that's the thing. You got to get the noise level. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
So you're going to have all these guys in there.
That's
trying to
fine.
get the leaves out of the way.
That works for me.
No.
Or use a rake. You heard of rakes?
Okay, there's few things that I detest. But
Yeah.
one of them is raking leaves. And I don't know why. I don't know where the trauma is.
It's the work. It's the work you detest.
I just detest raking leaves. I don't like rakes.
Are you using the wrong rake?
Or maybe the wrong end of it? I don't know.
Because I agree with you. So my dad bought the lawn implements,
Yes.
and one of the things he got was the real flimsy wire rake.
Yes, got one of those.
Which, and we had a honey locust tree.
Oh, yeah.
That was the bane of our existence as kids, because the leaves are about yay big,
Mm-hmm.
and any rake basically just fluffs them up in the air and never moves them.
Yes.
You're basically just fluffing them up in the air. That I can see why that would be maybe an opportunity to use a leaf blower. Any other leaves, the big leaves, just use a rake.
Right.
The big plastic one. Do you have the big plastic one?
Yes.
And you don't like it?
I don't like any rake. I have metal rakes. I have the flimsy leaf rakes. I have the plastic leaf rakes, and I also have the big landscaping level ground rakes.
Yeah.
I don't like raking in any shape or form. It's like green eggs and ham.
Green eggs and ham.
I do
will
not like them, Sam. I am.
Let's see. Gas powered, illegal. Oh, there's one in Solana Beach, California, banning the use of 2-stroke gas powered leaf blowers. So if you get a single stroke, you're fine. Oh, no, you're not fine, because over in Sonoma, bans anyone from using gas powered leaf blowers. Are gas powered leaf blowers that much louder than the ones you're talking about?
No. That's my thing. Is it's very. And again, it goes back to that whole, we don't want gas power because of the pollution and climate change.
Yeah.
But we're going to mine lithium for batteries for our leaf blowers. It's totally, there's a disconnect.
You know where that huge lithium mine is, right? Outside, I think it's outside of California. Maybe it's in California. I don't know. Anyway, there used to be this whole agricultural farm valley.
Okay.
And all the runoff basically went into this one sea, the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
And killed everything in it, because all the pesticide runoffs in there.
Right.
And this whole resort community built around it died on the vine. Everyone was getting their vacation property. It was outside of the city and it was beautiful. And basically they built up all this tourist stuff around the lake.
Okay.
And eventually just everything went belly up because nobody wanted to be around a dead lake.
Right, for sure.
And so the property there has just been worthless for so many years. And then all of a sudden someone discovered that underneath the lake bed, basically lithium. And so now that's some of the most probably valued property in the United States, if not the world, because it's got this huge trove of lithium underneath it, or whatever you need to make the lithium batteries.
Which only reaffirms every hoarder everywhere.
Save everything all the time.
Some way it's going to be worth something.
Sometime it's going to be worth something.
That's why I tell my wife with T-shirts. I have a lot of T-shirts, and she's always like, "Okay, we're gonna go through." I'm like, "No, these are like vintage. They're collectors. I've worn them." I have a coach's T-shirt from my oldest son's U10 Rocket football.
Oh,
and he's now 26, so it's 16-year-old T-shirt. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it has disappeared this month.
Oh no.
Which means,
oh no,
I'm not pointing my finger at my wife. However, she's the only one that could have made that disappear.
There used to be a check and balance for that. And
what was it?
My mom was instrumental in that, which was any old T-shirt. It never went in the garbage, but it did go in the furniture dusting drawer.
Yeah, there's always a reuse for it.
There's always a reuse. And that way you get to see, you go through the drawer periodically. Hey, this shirt's not ready for furniture.
Right. It's way too good for that.
It's so comfortable. And by the way, it is the 1-year anniversary of the morning show with Ken and Friends. So
it is.
Thank you to those who are sending the nice happy anniversaries on the video live stream. We appreciate you. And also, Bill was reminded as well. It's almost my 1-year wedding anniversary when Stephanie and I got married.
Yeah, which everybody remembers because I told them you were going away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I was there for you.
7:51. We've got the Moody on the Market update coming up.
Ken is going out of town for the next week, and he's like, "Why are you telling people that?"
The Moody on the Market update is coming up next.
On 83 degrees, the winds will be out of the southwest. They'll stay pretty light. Clear skies tonight. We drop down to 62, and then for tomorrow, we're talking middle 80s. With lots of sunshine, a little bit breezy on Tuesday afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms start up back on Wednesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:51 WSJM Morning Show continues. Good morning, and thanks for joining us on this Monday, 2nd day of June. It's the 1-year anniversary of the morning show with Ken and Friends. Yeah. June was the launch of the program, and we're now 1 year strong. It also coincidentally is also Mike's last show. Just kidding. If you listen to the video live stream, you'll know what I'm talking about. Moody on the Market update now. The Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles, and talking about some fun events because it's summertime now. You got to get the kids out to do stuff.
Got to.
The Greater Bridgman Area Chamber and Growth Alliance, in partnership with Classic Catering and Events, Indiana Michigan Power, and the Greater Bridgman community, has revealed that the Bridgman Street Dance will return as part of Celebrate Bridgman coming up in July 12 to be specific.
Wow.
Yeah, for many years, hundreds of people would gather in downtown Bridgman for the annual street dance, the event often being referred to as a giant community, family, and school reunion that created a lifetime worth of memories for attendees. Originally hosted by the Bridgman Fire Department, the street dance was put on hiatus 5 years ago due to you-know-what, COVID. But after the success of last year's Celebrate Bridgman event, recognizing the city's 75th birthday, the CGA approached the fire department and Chief Joel Boost and City Manager Juan Ganoum about bringing back the street dance to coincide with the summer celebration. And both felt that the organization could bring it back and create an ideal ending to the Celebrate Bridgman festivities. So on July 12th, they have a whole lot of events scheduled already. They've got the 1.1 mile fun run. They've got the Bridgman 5K, 10K. They've got the autos and ales. They've got a pop-up market. They've got paint by numbers, a parade through downtown. And then from 5 to 11 p.m., the street dance at the Bridgman Courtyard.
Man, when's that?
That is coming up on July 12th.
July
12th. And you can get the full detail on when that is and where that is, what it is. Everything is posted right now in a story at moodyonthemarket.com. And your Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. Back with more in just a moment.
Rich Brand and Tarek Halsey of IMS Insurance Management Service, your local auto owner's agency in St. Joseph and Niles, know it means something to have honest.
Okay, back on the video live stream. Move some commercials around here and make sure we get everything in. Somebody also had a funny comment. Let's see. Linda Preston Ray said maybe they should ban gas generators too. That was kind of funny because during the power outage we had, was it last week or the week before that? Week before that. Yeah. They a couple of our neighbors, as soon as the power goes out for medical reasons, they have generators, and they immediately kicked on, and they had lights and everything else, and also you got the generator drone just, and that was my way of knowing when the power was out without looking or checking anything.
Right.
It's like as long as that's on, power's out.
Yeah.
Power's out.
Good trigger.
Let's see. Tomorrow on the WSJM Morning Show, we'll be talking about some of our area parks getting ready for the season. Have you driven down to Silver Beach in the last week or two?
No.
You haven't driven by? You should drive by. Give me your thoughts on what they've done with the traffic pattern there.
All I've heard is not good things.
What have you heard?
That it's confusing and frustrating.
Okay. Because so this is I think it's part of a joint effort between the city and the county to try to alleviate some of the traffic congestion down at Silver Beach. And so one of the things that they've done is guide pedestrians over to, I guess that's the north side of the street,
right
on the same side as the carousel, guide pedestrians over there. But they have also made it a one-way into Silver Beach. And so both lanes that are divided by those planters are now going into Silver Beach. Well, one of them goes directly into Silver Beach. The right lane goes directly into Silver Beach. The left lane is supposed to be your left turn only, so you can't go to the beach.
Right.
So if you just want to drive by and see the beach, which is what we like to do all the time.
Sure.
You're supposed to be in the left part of that whole setup there. But maybe there's signage.
I was going to say, but who told somebody they were supposed to be in that turn lane?
I don't know that anyone did, because I found myself in the wrong lane this weekend. We'll talk about that here in a second. Right
now that it's summertime and you're heading down is it State Street, Main Street? When you're heading out of town and where you can go left to go toward St. Joseph Avenue, are we right?
Clock.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Long story on a short dime. It's 7:57.
Hubbard St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:57 WSJM Morning Show continues Monday, June 2nd. I'm Ken Lundberg, here with me, Mike Weibel. We were talking on the video live stream just a moment ago about the new traffic pattern down at Silver Beach, and I got mixed up and caught up in it this weekend, where it's now one way going toward the beach.
Right.
So you come down the hill, you pass Silver Beach Pizza, and it's now just one way. You can't have the two-way traffic there, and one of the lanes goes off to the left, and the right lane goes directly into the beach. I was just following the normal traffic pattern as I've remembered it, which was I was in the right lane, had to wave at some people and take a left. They waved back.
Yeah.
But you were saying,
so when you're going through St. Joe and if you're heading out of downtown, right there by Mickey's where that intersection is,
yeah,
and you go left to go toward McDonald's,
okay,
and right to go toward Red Arrow, you make that split there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This is the time of year where you have to watch the license plates because there's no real signage.
Yeah.
And so people in the left lane all of a sudden realize, oh no, I need to be in that right lane, not the left lane. And then they merge over, and people
they don't merge over. Well, they jet over.
Right. People get really upset. I've seen a lot of sign language and stuff like that being flipped out from the car. But,
yeah, right.
But over the past couple of weeks, I've been the victim of a couple people that I'm like, you're going to come over. You're going to come over. And then all of a sudden, ow, they come over.
I feel like that last minute, oh, I'm in the wrong lane merge. I feel like that happens all year long. It's
worse this time of year, though.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because, and by the way, we didn't talk about parking, so we should probably talk about parking next hour at some point.
Yeah.
Just anecdotally, what we saw over the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went downtown, but I went downtown a couple of different times. Antiques on the Bluff was this past Sunday, so yesterday, and we went down there. A lot of people
Yeah,
a lot of people there, which is great. And the parking situation was interesting, and I think it was a wash for people on both sides of the issue.
Yeah,
because there were a lot of parking spots filled, and a good handful that were available as well. And I think that was the balance they were looking for. Whether or not the merchants are feeling that might be another story.
Right.
So we'll watch that. All right, it is 7:59. Coming up on 8 o'clock, we've got world and national news from ABC. Our local news next.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A peaceful rally in Boulder, Colorado